Hello everybody, Ross Madden here. Welcome to the show. Today I am talking about Stefan Molyneux's new video of why I am not a conservative. And I am a conservative. And I'm going to explain why. And his argument starts out with why he doesn't like labels. And conservative is a label that has preloaded emotions, but also, actual meaning into the word conservative. I think that the not wanting to use labels is kind of like not wanting to use the word dating when you're in a middle school relationship, because you don't want that feeling of being judged a certain way by certain people. Maybe conservative has negative emotions for you, but you have to fight that. You can't just let that go. You can't just say, well, some people think that conservative's a bad thing, so I don't want to be a conservative anymore. You have to say, no, conservative is a good thing, and these are the arguments for why. Fighting for our terms is critical, and we all use terms. We all use labels. Like UPB is a label that he uses, Stefan Molyneux uses for his arguments for rational ethics. And universally preferable behavior basically says that everything is okay as long as it's voluntary. And as soon as you take away voluntary action, so we're talking about rape, steal, killing, you can't do those things voluntarily. Like someone can't voluntarily steal from somebody. Anyway, the argument is not important. The point is he is using the label, and he wants it to be a positive thing in people's minds. He wants it to be something that people believe in. And he hasn't given up on that label of UPB. So it's not across the board. It's not a rational thing across the board to just say anything with a label is negative. In fact, conservative is a positive label. Conserve is the root. And what are we conserving? We're conserving money. We use the term conservative to mean less expensive. And Stefan Molyneux is a businessman, so he of course knows that there is a conservative estimate. There's also a liberal estimate. And that, I think, is the essence of conservative and liberal. So that is what conservative means to me. It means that we're going to not just shrink the size of government, but shrink the budget. You're not allowed to spend so much. There's way overspending, and that's because they don't have to have a balanced budget. There's that conservative principle of balancing the budget has gone out the window. So we are talking about more than just a label. It's not just emotions attached to the word conservative, which I'll admit, conservative, because the mainstream media has this massive psyop to just make conservatives out to be racist, sexist, bigots, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The conservative principle is also lodged into that word, conservative. And balancing the budget is a conservative principle that would make a big difference. It would stop a lot of the corruption within our government. And you just can't be as corrupt if you can't spend as much money. There's not as much reason to have as much corruption if the government can't spend as much money. When Stefan Molyneux basically says that conservative is an old-timey memory, I'm a 26-year-old guy. I don't have this old-timey memory of when conservatives were good. I have Bush, who was a neocon, not a conservative, spent a ton of money on wars overseas. Like, I have no essence of memory of old times. That's not so you're not connecting with me. with that argument. And in fact, anyone, a 5-year-old, could make an argument for conservatism, and it's still valid. So just saying that what we want to conserve is this old-time memory, it's not accurate. We want to conserve money. We want to conserve what we worked for. We want to conserve our paychecks. That is what we're trying to conserve. But I'll go ahead and make the historic argument for why Stefan Molyneux feels the way he does. He's old enough to have some old-time memory where our government wasn't so corrupt and it wasn't so bad. Well, maybe we just weren't getting as much reporting as we are now. That's a possibility. But also, you can just tell by the curvature of our debt that it wasn't so bad. They weren't spending so much. And historically, you can back that up because we had World War II, massive loss to a lot of people in the American economy. We came back from World War II, had the 50s and 60s, booming economy, smaller government, and mid-60s, late 60s, they launched this massive psyop. Wait, I'm wearing a Grateful Dead shirt right now. Grateful Dead was part of that psyop that just confused everybody. And basically, I mean, all of the conscious people, I'll go ahead, this is a tangent. I'm wearing the shirt, I'll go ahead and go on the tangent. They basically launched a psyop that had all of the conscious people, all of the people who think about, the environment, who think about no war, who think about eating healthy, and they got them to listen to music and just, yeah, good music, Grateful Dead, and I love their music. I do enjoy the music, but to see all of those people just do all those drugs and accomplish so little, and then let go of America, let go of all of the conservative principles that we had, and now this is where we are. Now I have to make arguments for why the conservatives shouldn't abandon the actual word conservative. We are abandoning the principles. We abandoned them long ago, but we can't. The word is important. That label is important. That label means less spending. That label will mean less corruption. So we have to fight for labels. And I can't let Stefan Molyneux just not be a conservative. I have to make the argument for why Stefan Molyneux is a conservative. I have to correct his arguments. And it's so important that he sees this. And whether you're a conservative or not, whether you're Stefan Molyneux or not, I hope that you are listening to this with an open mind and just listen to the arguments, because I think the arguments are valid, and if they're not, please comment below and explain why I'm wrong. The last argument he makes is, what are we conserving? What are we conserving when we talk about conservatism? And I said balanced budgets, I said money, but what are we really conserving? We're still the freest nation in the world. America is, Steph. We are. And yes, that has led to an abundance of corruption and an abundance of debt, and our government has been able to do things that other governments have not been able to do around the world. Unbelievably massive empire building. That is what America is, and that is a function of the freedom that we once had. But we still have the Bill of Rights, and they're under attack. And we still have the right to bear arms, and that's under attack. And we still have the right to make videos and post them online, and that's under attack. So what am I trying to conserve? I'm trying to conserve conservative principles. The Bill of Rights. the Constitution. There are things that we're trying to conserve that matter. Our paychecks. The ability to argue. How about the human race? How about our species? You argue for our species all the time, Steph. That's what I'm trying to conserve. I'm making this video because we matter. I'm trying to conserve my life. Come on, Steph. You're in this fight with me. We're both trying to conserve the human race. This matters. What we have matters. And I'm not ready to give it up. And you know it's under attack, and so do I. Stefan Molyneux ends up his video with a great line. What are you trying to conserve? The only thing I'm trying to conserve is reason and evidence. And the only extra thing I would tack onto that is freedom. That's what I'm trying to conserve. And I believe Steph is too. And reason, evidence, and freedom. The right to spend your own money. The right to spend your own paycheck. I believe that is worth fighting for, and that is worth calling yourself a conservative. Demanding that our government use conservative principles and balance the budget and spend money in conservative fashions. So why am I a conservative? I'm a conservative because I believe it's right for a government to respect the finances of the people who live within the borders. I believe that it is the people's money